This is the kind of mafia romance I need in my life. Did I stay up until 7 in the morning to finish this book? Yes, I absolutely did. It has to be one of the best feelings ever because this book was messy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Midnight Reader, and today we're going to be talking about all of the books I read in January as well as February. We're doing a double wrap today because I fell into a reading slump halfway through January and I just knew that I was not going to be able to read a lot of books in February, which was exactly the case. So I read 7 books in January and only 4 books in February. So we have a total of 11 books to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get started. I started off the new year with Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. This is book 2 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, and I enjoyed it as much as the first one. In this book, we're following Liz, who chickens out of getting the Kui parasite, which, if you don't know, is a tiny organism the human women in the series have to inject into their body so that they're able to adapt to the ice planet. And since she chickens out of it, Rahosh, her fated mate, takes matters into his own hands and basically forces it on her before proceeding to kidnap her to his cave, which I know is a wild start. What really worked for me was the banter. The human versus alien differences made their dynamics so fun to read about, especially since Rahosh is very caveman alpha and Liz absolutely hates being controlled. I will warn you guys though, Rahosh is a bit hard to like at first, but once Liz puts him in his place, he softens up a lot and you get hit with his backstory and find out that he's been an outcast his entire life, which eventually makes you root for him, or at least that was the case for me. Liz is easily my favorite FMC so far in the series. She is so fierce, independent, and just iconic. Like, I'm telling you guys, this woman carried a 7 to 8 feet alien through waist length thick snow. Exactly. Iconic. This book ended up being a solid 4-star read for me. The only things holding it back were the tribe interfering at the end and how Georgie, the FMC from book 1, was portrayed in here. But overall, this is a fun, chaotic alien romance, and I am hooked enough to continue on with the series. The next book I picked up was The Predator by Ronex. I just had a feeling that I was gonna love this book, and I was absolutely right. This is the kind of mafia romance I need in my life. Tristan Kane, oh my god, his presence is just unreal. He's broody, he's dangerous, he is mysterious, he is the predator. I am telling you guys, if this man knows one thing, it is how to live up to his reputation. And when the big review hits, oh my god, everything about him suddenly makes so much more sense, especially his hatred for Morana, which, guys, if you don't know, this is an enemies to lovers romance. And speaking of Morana, she is just such a standout FMC. She's a mob boss's daughter, a genius hacker, and honestly, just a full package, you know? Smart, brave, fury, and feminine. I love that, and I loved how she stood her ground with both Tristan and her father, who, by the way, is an absolute jerk. The romance, of course, stole the show for me. Their chemistry was insane. The tension, the looks, the coats, the spice, absolutely freaking delivered. Even the plot had me hooked throughout the entire book, but fair warning, guys, it does end on a cliffhanger, and book 2 in the series follows the same couple. We also had interesting side characters, Dante and Amara. Dante is the real heir to Tristan's mafia family, and Amara is Tristan and Dante's childhood friend. So I did like Dante. Amara did not have as much of an on-page presence, but I do know that they both are gonna get their own book further down in the series, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this was an easy 5-star read for me, and I was obsessed to the point that I immediately jumped into book 2, which is The Reaper. I'm gonna keep this one vague since I cannot say much without spoilers, but yeah, I enjoyed this one as well. It was definitely entertaining and better than book 1 in terms of plot and character development. We got to dive deeper into both Tristan and Morana's backstories, which I really appreciated. Morana absolutely shined in this one. I was loving her courageous aura. She is just the perfect mix of smart and sexy, and we seriously need more women like her in mafia romances. Tristan also had a lot more dialogue in this book as compared to book one, which I'm telling you guys, this man absolutely hates opening his mouth, but when he does, yeah, I'm sad, you're sad, we're all sad. I did like the romance more in book one, mostly because I thrive on drama, and this couple is very anti third act breakup, which is great for them, but I'm sorry, mafia romance is just automatically equal drama for me. That said, I was still hoping for some jealousy scenes, and we did get a decent amount, so I'll take that. I did end up giving this book 3 stars. I just feel like the overall plot could have been more fast paced. Things were moving at a snail's pace only for everything to feel rushed at the end. I also guessed the plot twist pretty early on. I mean, it was very obvious, so you'd have to be very oblivious not to see it coming. Then I picked up Pharaoh by Alessandra Hazard. This is an romance and book 2 in the Wrong Alpha series. Did I stay up until 7 in the morning to finish this book? Yes, I absolutely did, and I have zero regrets. I am just so happy to have another Alessandra Hazard banger I can obsess over for the rest of my life, and I'm not even kidding, guys. I am already craving a reread just so I can experience everything all over again. In this book, we're following Jules, an ordinary Omega who no one ever really notices for more than a second, and he is just very used to living in his beautiful older brother's shadow. What I love most about him was how, despite not having a clear or promising future, he always stayed optimistic and kind. His relationship with his brothers was genuinely one of my favorite parts. So sweet, so wholesome, and so full of love. Devlin, on the other hand, is a Zeus alpha, which is the strongest and rarest species in this world. He has been captured in his beastly farm and is being experimented on, and while he's a duke, he does not remember who he is. The angst and tension in this book was insane right from the moment our characters meet, and it only gets more intense as the story goes on. Their friendship was just so beautiful, soft, and emotional all at once. We also had very fun banter in here and a push and pull romance, which was just chef's kiss. So yeah, this was another easy 5-star read for me. I am absolutely falling in love with the historical plus sci-fi world the author has created. The mix of old school customs with futuristic technology is just done so well and feels so immersive. With that being said, I am very excited to see where the series goes next because that excerpt from the next book is unhinged. One Woman Please by Amy Dawes. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed this book, even though I'm pretty sure I would have DNF'd it if I would have read it 2 to 3 years ago. I'm sorry, that is a weird way to talk about a book. Anyways, let's get to the point. I did like both of our main characters. Josh is an ER doctor and Lindsay is pursuing her psychology degree. They both meet at the hospital cafeteria, which Lindsay practically lives in because that is the only place she can focus on writing her thesis. And Josh, of course, is not a fan of her constant presence there. The banter between them was hilarious, especially in the beginning, which leads to a one night stand, which then leads to Lindsay getting knocked up. Josh has a pretty dark past, which has made him spare off of relationships and kids, so obviously finding out about the pregnancy does not thrill him. That said, he still steps up like a responsible adult and is ready to face the consequences of his actions and help Lindsay raise their child platonically, which would have been ideal, except they're still very much attracted to each other, and this crow cannot freaking shut up. Oh my god. What is its problem? Go away.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's ready to raise a child platonically, which would have been ideal, except they are both still very much attracted to each other, and living under the same roof only makes resisting each other almost impossible. The romance was both sweet and angsty, and I was eating that up. Josh's fears and Lindsay's hopefulness felt so real and well written. I do wish there was more going on in terms of the overall plot though, since most of the book takes place inside Josh's home. As for the side characters, they were fine and the spice wasn't anything special. Overall, this was a entertaining one-time read and I gave it 3 stars. The last book I picked up in January was A Kingdom Is Cursed and Empty by Stasia Stark, and this is book 2 in the Kingdom of Light series and my third 5-star read of the month, which is insane and it never ever happens to me, and if it does it's always once in a blue moon event. So I am so happy about that. Like, we started off the year with a bang. But yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I was not expecting the second book to be this good. And wow, I just love being proven wrong. There is just something about going into a book with the lowest of lowest expectations and having your mind blown. I just love that feeling. It has to be one of the best feelings ever. I don't know. But yeah, if you cannot tell, I am absolutely obsessed with both of our characters. Lorian is 100% earning his spot as one of my book boyfriends, and Priska, oh my god, she is just the perfect mix of vulnerable and strong. Her fears felt so real and relatable, which made me love her even more. The plot was solid too. I do wish it was a little more fast paced at times, but it still worked very well for a second book in the series. The side characters, though, oh my god, they deserve a special mention because they are such a diverse, unique bunch, and I love how each of them brings something different to the table. So yeah, the found family element in this book is chef's kiss. The romance, though, of course, was my absolute favorite part. I genuinely, and I mean genuinely, wasn't expecting much, but it completely swept me off my feet. It was sweet, it was wholesome, it was angsty, and the yearning, absolutely insane. I am telling you guys, it was just so freaking good. We also got flashback chapters in here which dive deeper into Lorian's past, which I found really interesting. Also, a new POV was introduced, which I'm sure is gonna add a lot more depth to the plot in the next book. Overall, the series is just getting better and better, and I really hope it stays that way. And this is where I fell into a bad reading slump to the point that I did not even want to think about books, no less pick one up and start reading. So yeah, let's move on to the books I read in February. The first book I picked up hoping it would cure my slump was Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Is it just me or Ali Hazelwood is losing her touch? Because I really hope that's not the case, and this book is the only exception because this book was messy. They both had strong backstories, but it felt like there was little to no character growth, which is such a bummer because for me, character growth matters a lot. I need my characters to feel different from who they were in the beginning of the book to who they are now at the end of the book. And not like a whole personality change. I need to like see and feel the change, the journey they have been through in this book. I mean, that's why I'm reading their story. But with Ko and Serena, they were literally the same person they were at the start of the book and the end of the book, which is not bad, but it just not makes reading their story worth it. The romance itself was confusing. It was somehow insta love, slow burn, enemies to friends to lovers all at once, and I honestly don't know how to describe it. Cohen and Serena were literally giving me platonic friends vibes until her heat kicked in, and I just needed way more attention and chemistry to buy into the whole cheesy one thing. I was also expecting a whole rejected mate romance, but that is not what this was. It's more about Cohen having reasons he cannot accept Serena as his mate, even though he wants her so badly. I usually love a good push and pull romance, but in here it was just very meh and added absolutely nothing to the story. The spice though was really good, no complaints there. It was so good to the point that I feel like the author spent all her time on it and literally just forgot about the plot because the plot was not it, guys. It was really bad. There was so much going on and nothing at all at once. Conflicts kept popping up one after another without the previous ones being properly resolved, which made the whole thing feel messy and underwhelming. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It's not a bad book. In fact, I would say it's pretty decent, especially if you're new to Omega Verse or werewolf romances. But as someone who reads a lot in this genre, it didn't bring anything new to the table. Then I was in the mood for some mafia romance, so I picked up Brothel Bride by TJ McGuire. This book has been gaining a lot of hype on Bookstagram and Booktube. and I just wanted to see what all the hype was about. I'm sorry, I just could not with the Insta romance, which was not even the worst thing because we literally had grown mafia men acting like immature kids in this book. So yeah, I DNF'd it. I did not want to force myself to read something that was gonna push me deeper into my slump when I was so hardly trying to crawl my way out of it. The writing in this book wasn't even that great. Anyways, moving on. The next book I read was From These Dark Depths by Vanessa Rasinen. This is book two in the Ailing Sea series, and this book, it took me forever to get through, and I swear I zoned out a million times reading this. I did go in with high expectations for this sequel, so it's on me, guys. It's literally on me. I should not have expected so much from this. The pacing in this book drove me insane. It was so slow that I easily skimmed through multiple paragraphs without it affecting anything. We went from having dual POV in the first book to having multiple POV in this book, which is great. I love that in a fantasy book. I want to know what's going on in all of their heads. It adds a lot of character depth. But without a solid gripping plot to balance it out, it feels dragged out. And that was the case with this book. It was so freaking dragged out. Ivy and Declan are two main characters who literally sideline in their own book. I love side characters and extra romance as much as the next person, but I draw the line where the main pair is getting overshadowed in their own freaking book. But speaking of the other character slash couples, Tommy and Mora were very cute. They had a insta love thing going on, which did not make a ton of sense, but I did eat up the angst. Adler, though, oh my god, now that's a character I am invested in. I am already sensing something brewing between him and Kate, and their whole "can I trust you, enemies to lovers" thing was easily my favorite dynamic. As for Ivy and Declan, they were overshadowed in their own book, but we did finally get their love confession, so I'll take that as a win. Overall, this is a very character driven book with barely any plot, which was not what I was expecting going into it. And the ending has not left me desperate enough to pick up the next book. So if I pick up the next book, and it's a very big if because I have pretty much decided that I'm not gonna continue on with this series. I'm just not curious enough to know more about these characters or their stories. And the final book I read in February was God of Wrath by Rena Kent. This is another fun addition to the series, and I believe it is book three. Yeah, I wasn't expecting much going into this book because I did not really like Jeremy in the previous books. But oh my god, he surprised me. There is just something about the Heathens guys. So yeah, the elite guys have to up their game because I am team Heathens. As I said, Jeremy was a very interesting character and he gave very much the Mafia Prince energy I was looking forward to. I loved the balance of caring but cruel. It worked very well for him. Ceci wasn't bad either. She has been portrayed as the mom of the girl gang and she came off so strong in the previous books that I was fully ready to watch her make Jeremy kneel. But that did not happen. Instead, she is the one who did all the caving and very quickly, in my opinion. The romance was very lust driven, and I did not mind that at all. But I feel like the author got carried away with those scenes and forgot about all the fluff because we were only told about the cute stuff, them spooning, them cooking meals together, them showering together, reading mangas, just even having like late night talks. So that was sort of disappointing. Plot wise, though, it was definitely better than book two. I was eating up all the drama Lannon was causing. And that guy is a real menace. But yeah, you guys know it. I am a sucker for jealousy scenes, so I was loving it. One thing that really bothered me was how Jeremy, a literal mafia prince who's also the leader of the heathens, apparently had nothing better to do than stalk Cecily 24/7. I mean, I would have loved to see his dynamic with the heathens when Cecily wasn't around, but we didn't really get that. But yeah, I still really like this book. It was super fun. I gave it 4 stars, and I am very much ready to dive into the next book, which is God of Ruin. I am really hoping and praying Mia does not disappoint me in the next book because I desperately need her to humble Landon. That guy needs to be tamed. So yeah, those are all the books I read in January and February. Do let me know what type of content would you like to see from me in the future. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!